Hey, it's producer Rob. We've got Jeff and we've got Bart over here.
Guys.
Thanks for tuning in. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, thank you very much. Yes. If you're listening to us right now, that means you're not seeing us, but you can see us if you want to. Just go to Jeep Beach Official on YouTube, and you'll be able to find out everything that we've done in the past, most of them anyway.
That's a scary thought.
Videos. Yeah. And if you are watching this and you want the audio portion of it, all your favorite podcast platforms will cover that.
Yes.
So, ready for the show?
Ready.
You ready?
Yes,
we're ready.
Thanks for tuning in. Here we go.
It's now time for another episode of the Off-Road Toolbox. A Jeepers guide to everything off-road. Powered by Best Price Trailers.
Hey guys, so what's up today?
I guess we're going to go over some things from, we had an event, and Rob came up with this idea that he saw on social media about rapid radios.
Yeah, rapid radios. I saw this, and it's kind of a cool new thing, but it's not that new. No, it's working. Remember the old Nextel?
Yep.
So tell us more about that, Bart.
Well, so rapid radios, and there's another company that's doing it, and they're pushing for emergency response or things go down. But our take is it going to be viable for off-road use? So if you want one of these radios, so we're going to discuss it, and is it applicable for the off-road use, or is it maybe used for,
More like a business type deal.
business thing, or somebody, or truck firms, or people you want to stay in contact with? I mean, it's going to be, it's basically a cell phone and a walkie-talkie. So you have to have a SIMS card.
Right.
The company uses LTE, or the either
LTE
or 4G. So they're using some of the older cell phone bands because they keep changing and modifying and getting faster things.
Right.
So the old bands are there and they still work. And if you can get, actually it's internet based and cell phone based. I didn't know it was
so is it kind of like the Nextel?
But
Remember Nextel, you had the cell phone or the push.
Yeah, but with the Nextel, you could only talk to one person at a time, I believe. You couldn't talk to like 5 people.
Okay.
Where this, you can get into a group, and everybody in the group can talk like a regular
group chat. Almost.
Group chat with a walkie-talkie, push-to-talk type thing. And it's called a POC, which is push-to-talk over cell phone, which I had to learn.
And there's a global option too, right?
Yeah, there is. Because, yes. So our cell phones, a lot of our cell phones do work worldwide. Some of the other unique things about this radio is that they can jump from carrier to carrier to carrier. So you could be on an AT&T, and then you can go to Verizon, you can go to T-Mobile. Whoever is the strongest pickup, you can get it. Again, it's going to go over the cell phone frequencies. But it also it's internet based.
Okay.
So the company has good and bad. Is when you buy the radio, I want to say that they're not, the radios aren't made in the U.S., but you put in a SIMS card.
Well, nothing's really made in the U.S. anymore. So
then they program it for you. So you're basically, I wouldn't say encrypted, but it's your group is in that private chat, and it's a private chat. So it's not like what we're used to with, our
like the CBs, you would be able
the CBs or the GRMS.
So anybody can listen on a CB, right?
In a Midland, yes,
right,
yes. So, and you can talk as long as you have cell phone service and their internet system is up, their server hasn't been hacked, everything is up. You can talk, and when there's been recent outages for different cell phones that went down, this still worked because it just jumped over to another carrier. So it's interesting in that aspect of it. It is clear communication. It is crisp, clear communications. It's in a walkie-talkie version, what it looks like. And they also make a mobile unit. So you can put a mobile unit in your car and have the walkie-talkies, but they sell them in pairs.
So now they sell them in pairs, but you can do, how much is it a pair?
It's $400 for a pair.
For a pair. And then you got to pay for the service too.
Well, for the first year, the first year, and again, it's marketing play. So they say there's no monthly fee, and for the first year it's on rapid radios, and then the next year it's $50 per radio.
Okay.
So you're paying for the pair. You're paying for $100.
And that's per what, month?
No, year.
Per year.
That's
yeah.
not
So
bad.
it's like $4. It's like so basically you're in other places that do it, or there's other radios. You can get some of the ham radios that will take a SIMS card. They're like $4 or $5 a month fee.
Okay.
They're just doing it once a year after the first year. The first year is free.
Okay.
They said they they're saying nationwide push to talk, and if the system's up, it is nationwide. You're going to talk with no problem. They claim it has a 5-day battery use, but is that in standby mode or is that
Probably standby mode.
I would say
yeah,
standby.
So you got to keep them charged.
I
could see these being used a lot for contractors, construction people, just like the Nextel was used.
Yes,
it's easy to talk.
But you can have everybody in the whole group.
Make a phone. You don't have to make a phone call.
Yes,
it's just
and if you have a group
talk.
of people, and you can, I believe it's up to 200 people you can put into a group, and you can have several groups in your subgroups in your profile. So you would have to click on whatever group you want to talk to. So if you just want to have your family in a group,
right,
and then you want to have your Jeep club in a group.
Jeep club. Now that's what I was thinking. You got these big Jeep clubs,
right,
and they can all donate to this fee.
Yes,
and it can be paid
right.
for.
But you're going to be paying. So you're going to be
decent
paying
amount of money.
$400 for two.
Yeah.
And unless there's some type of special that goes on, but so versus like with our Midland radios and the other radios that we have, they start at $40,
right,
for a handheld, and then you can get bundles where you can get the handheld and the mobile unit,
yeah.
and then everybody's on it. Now, granted, wherever you're at, I mean, your whole group's going to be on it, and you have limited range. So when I was looking at it, like I said, I was looking at you have to contact the company, and the company will add other people, versus our GRMS radios.
Where you just know the channel that you're supposed to be on, and you can talk on.
You just turn it on. So both of them are just turn on and use. The big difference is if you're going to have somebody outside your group. So when you order it, you get your 2 radios, and it's only you 2 people,
right,
that are on that frequency.
Right.
So then as you add people, whether you want to add 2 or make them a separate group, you can do it. So I said they're just dependent upon the internet and cell service. So, but if you go to areas, and there's still areas in Florida that have no cell service, then you have no radio service.
Or it's very weak.
Yes.
So it won't work if you're in an area that doesn't have cell service.
Correct. It will not work.
All
right. So if you're going to be a Jeep group that goes out, know your area, and know that where you're going to have these outages. I'll give you a good example. When I was doing some of the military training in Texas, we had lots of areas where no cell phone service. So this radio wouldn't work in that environment. Versus our handheld radios, with the repeaters, was kind of interesting. And I think it's interesting because I'm in the middle of the desert, right? So we were getting 15 miles because it's all line of sight. It's flat, on our handheld radios. And
it's like listening to a 100,000 watt radio station in Chicago or somewhere in the Midwest. You can pick that signal up flat all around.
All over. It was kind of neat, yes. Yeah. So, I mean, that's when we're looking at things. So if you look at a ham radio or GRMS radio, you have options. It's just what do you want to use and what do you want to plug in? And then the other thing is if you're using, like we bring radios, and there's always, like with our ham radios, we can get on a frequency and call for help. If we give an example in Florida, it's called SARNet, which is State Amateur Radio Network, and it is at every EOC in the state of Florida. So if I can hit their repeater, which there's up and down the whole thing, I can get emergency help, and that's line of sight. So we don't have to worry about that. Where with these, you're not, other than somebody outside your network, you're not calling for help.
No.
And if cell phone, like hurricanes, when hurricanes go, cell phones
go down.
Yep. The big fire in Hawaii last year, cell phones went down.
Yep.
So those type of deals, if you're getting it for that, I don't know. I
really think though, I think though, your contractors, your construction people.
Oh,
those
yes.
are the ones I think
they're
really going to go after.
I think it'll be more of a business institute.
Oh, they're marketing it for emergency preppers. Is what they're really is their big market. If you look at their pages,
emergency preppers. I mean, the first thing that's going to go down will be satellite. I mean, satellite would be your cell phones.
I mean that. We know that.
But
that's their big. That's their big marketing. Their big marketing. And if you'll see it with world events going on and wars all over the world, having one of these could save your life. Well, if the system is up and running and
Yeah.
you have somebody to talk to, yes.
Yeah, I guess for that quick second or two before.
Or if you need help,
Yeah, true. To get help, I guess that would work.
Even if you had to call somebody in California that's got the radio and they're hearing it, they can call somebody. And go ahead.
Is there a 911 type of service where they can get a hold of, like,
Not on
emergency
this.
services?
You'd have to call somebody on your net, and they'll have to call emergency services for
Okay.
you.
All right.
So it was interesting. But so we did the show on the guy that was off-roading and got lost and broke down, and he used his ham radio, and he was on HF, and he called somebody states away, heard him call, and they got him rescued.
That's kind of what everyone. That's great.
Kind of versus with this one, it's got to, and their radio's got to be on. So whoever you're calling has to have their radio on. Versus you just can't broadcast an emergency over the air because nobody's going to hear you if they're not in your group.
Right.
Now, I could see this for like a call out for a SAR team.
As long as they have cell phone service, yep.
That would work for that. I mean, even when we were doing our little
Yes.
thing over there in Tiger Bay,
Yes.
it would have worked perfect over there.
And it's clear transmission, very crisp, clear.
Right.
You can hear each other.
Nice.
It is nice. So yes.
That's good. Nice deal.
So, is it that time of the day?
I did bring up a couple of, from doing my homework on this.
Yeah.
I came up with a couple tools.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did.
Well, let's find out who these tools are.
Okay.
Is it a tool or
There's two of them, and it was just interesting because I was
Okay.
doing research on this for. I was on YouTube.
Okay.
I did my research, and I include social media, I include YouTube, and I include other chat groups. So whenever we're doing our topics, I get in the weeds, folks. I'm sorry. That's everybody laughs,
So that's
kinda-
why we love you.
So you get into some websites that you probably shouldn't get into. Is that
Not
what you're
those,
saying?
not in this. No.
Are you sure?
No, yes.
What
But,
are
hey,
you googling when you do this?
So you're making fun of me, but who had the SD card today?
All right, we're gonna get that's behind the scenes. Hey, I didn't lose the SD card. It wasn't me. I didn't lose it. It was just not here. Someone borrowed it and didn't put it back.
I
and
know.
We just so.
So like when we're doing this radio thing, so I looked at them, and there's a couple really good people who do a lot of information on emergency preparedness, and they also do ham radio stuff, and they do all these, and they looked at these. So I got a lot of information about it that actually said, hey, again, if you're going to use it for off-road use, make sure you have cell phone service. If you don't, then don't get these.
There's not a lot of service in the Ocala National Forest.
It runs hot and cold. Depends on where you're at.
Okay.
So in that case, no, I wouldn't say go with these. I would say go with, one of the radios.
GMRS
or
or
ham.
whichever.
Yep. And I got to tell you, Midland's been very good to us. And,
Yeah,
and,
Midland's
and we've
really good.
used their stuff
Yep.
all over. And in our group, again, granted, it's only a couple mile range because that's all we are at, versus, I don't need to call, my son in Ohio.
Well, yeah, a
because-
couple mile range is fine. I mean, who's going to be a couple miles away from if you're all going out together?
You're all
know?
going out
Yeah.
together. You're pretty good. So doing this. So get back to your topic.
Okay. So are we talking about the tool now?
We're going to the tools.
Now we're going to the tool.
We're going to the tools.
Let's go to the tool.
So we go to the tools.
Hey, you see that idiot?
What the hell are you doing?
What are you doing?
What you think you're doing, you stupid idiot?
It's the Off-Road Toolbox Tool of the Day.
Are you some kind of moron?
So the tools of the day is when I was doing the research, I came across different things pop up for this one, and actually for one of our other shows, it came up. So this person came on and said, look, I've been in first responder for 11 years, and here's some equipment I think you should carry in your car for inclement weather or emergencies. So I'm like, okay, let's see what the guy has. Well, one of the things that he has is a toe strap with a hook, the built-in hook.
Red button. Red button.
So again, for us, that's and I looked at the strap, and again, from doing what we do, I looked at it. I'm like, that strap's only got a 2,000 or 2,500 pound capacity,
So it's more so for towing,
but
not for snatching.
so let me go back. But my Jeep weighs 5,400 pounds, but that strap's only rated for 2,500 pounds.
It would work in a pinch.
It would work going straight on a road,
On a
straight road. But so even from the get go, you have the cheap open hooks, which you don't want, and then you have a strap that's not rated for the vehicle that you're pulling. And worst case scenarios, well, if that fails, you're going to get a hook because it's got a metal hook attached to it versus a soft shackle or something else. And then I looked at the flashlights and some other stuff. So when I look at a flashlight and you're showing me a non-LED flashlight that takes the old 6-volt batteries.
Oh, the canisters.
Yes. So I'm kind of like, no. You know, I'm just saying I'm not bashing anybody.
I mean, he's probably got the mindset that he's doing.
We're looking.
Yeah, so
we're looking at it. We're putting
this. Where did you see this?
This was on YouTube.
How old was that YouTube video?
This one was less than 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
So yep.
Yeah, there's a lot better equipment out.
But this has been out for. I mean, so I haven't used a toe strap with a hook in 8, 9, maybe 10 years because they're dangerous.
Okay, yeah.
And they are. And like with flashlights, I would go with LED, and then I'd also go with something that I could carry spare batteries or I could recharge in my vehicle. He was all great. Like I said, we did the show on what to bring in your vehicle for snowstorms, floods, hurricanes. You have to move. It's great to have some gear. I'm not bashing a person because you've been a first responder for.
But you're calling
years.
him a tool.
I am, because he's got the wrong gear.
He's got the wrong gear.
Okay.
He's got and the next one on this one was a former Navy Special Warfare, and he has a big YouTube channel. And so when you look at it, just because you're highly trained and highly skilled, I mean, I think both of these guys are outside their wheelhouse. I think they're outside of their area of expertise. I'm not bashing.
What does this guy have? What is it?
So this guy's got a great Toyota Land Cruiser, and he had a flat tire. So if you turn the page, he's got this great Toyota, very capable vehicle. He's got all-terrain tires. I mean, so it looks good. He gets a screw in it. So he's going to give a lesson on how to repair your tire. And the first thing he does is he pulls the screw out before he even gets his kit prepped.
Yeah.
So, I mean, first thing I would do is get my kit out. I'd get the reamer out. And you can use the cheap one. He's got the cheap one.
Yeah, he does.
I've used the cheap one several times, and lessons learned. There's times it worked, and there's times that the handle pulled off.
Oh, yes.
And they'll break down, and they'll come apart. So he's got the right gear, but you'll notice he still has the tire flat. So lessons learned is I would get my plug-in kit out. I would have everything ready before I pull the screw out.
Yep.
Then I would get my compressor out, and I would air my tire up.
As much as you could.
And because if you air up a tire, it's easier to plug than because it's not going to bend. It's not going to.
It's not pushing down on whatever.
You're pushing on the air. So I would get everything set, pump it back up, and I would pump it back up, and then pull out it, and then ream it, and then put it in. But then you'll see in the next picture, like he's got this air. So one thing it tells me is he doesn't really off-road because he doesn't air down. And the reason why I know he doesn't air down is because he's got this other compressor that you can get. It's a DeWalt compressor. Mm-hmm. It's low speed, right? So in his video, it took him 12 minutes to air this tire back up.
Unacceptable.
And the reason I'm saying is he's going to only be able to air up one tire, and then that compressor is going to get a thermal shut off, and it's going to shut off.
They get hot quick.
And I'm not, again, the guy might be a great in CQB. The guy might be a great in mission planning and assaulter. But when it comes to off-road preparedness or going off-road or making, an expedited field repair, he didn't go to one of my courses. And when I trained military guys and tier 1, 2, and 3 guys, I remember this one guy goes, "What are you going to teach me?" And I'm like, "Oh, you just said it to me." So I said, "Okay, if you can do," I did an instructor demo. If you can do what I just did, I'm just going to sit back in the back seat. I'm going to let you drive the whole week. So I went through the course, and when I got done, he goes, "Yeah, I think I'm going to learn from you." And he had been through a course before. Right. And he goes, "But your style, your mannerism, and the things you just taught me," he goes, "not everybody teaches the same." And he goes, "It was a great lesson." He goes, "I'm a highly skilled guy, but," so we did one whole drill, and I did it with my arm on the armrest, talking to the guy and whipping the car around, and we had to do car to truck to off-road to everything, and I did it all, and we're talking, and we're probably running, and he goes, "Oh, you're driving with one hand." I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Are you uncomfortable?" He goes, "I've just never seen an instructor so relaxed driving." And he goes, "Even off-road, when you got there," he goes, "there's a big difference in just teaching off a point of instruction versus we can tell you have done this a number of times." And he goes, again, plug in a tire. He goes, you gave us insight on plugging a tire that some of these other guys didn't give. You gave us insight with a high lift jack. And he goes, I like when the other instructors took all your gear and the only thing you had left was your personal gear, and we never got struck. We never got stuck. So my point being is that, there's some great operators in the world, but, not knowing how to plug a tire and the little cheats, the little things to make it faster, smoother, and having the right gear. I mean, I wouldn't go off-roading with this DeWalt compressor. I wouldn't. I would spend a little bit more money and buy a off-road compressor that's designed to do 31 to 33 to 35-inch tires versus a bicycle, tire. I mean, this isn't high-speed compressor.
That's more like for a home use.
And so if I have to, and again, do I want to wait 12 minutes to air up? I mean, I should be able to, with my smallest compressor, I'm about 3 minutes per tire to air it up from whatever to about 35. And he's running 31s and I run, 35s. So you want a good gear, you want the right gear, and you want the right training. Now he plugged the hole and he aired it up and it held, no problem. I just think there's a better way to do it,
Yes.
And I, not falling back on, well, I was in Navy Special Warfare and I did all this, but
So basically an A for effort and maybe a C for execution on this?
Yeah. I'm not bashing them. I'm
Right,
just
yeah.
saying stay in your wheelhouse. Or when because you're out here, you're teaching this, what you're teaching.
Putting it out on the internet.
You're putting it on the internet like you're an expert, and
Okay.
he didn't come to my course. Neither one of
for
them
your
did.
course. Well, now,
neither one of them did.
What's your course?
No, it's I
it
get
just
hired. I get hired by different groups.
Oh, okay. So I was going to say plug for your course.
Oh,
but-
no, but I do teach off-road driving. I teach for state agencies, police, fire, military,
and personal.
we do small groups. We do Jeep Beach. We do a lot of things. So when I did through my company, Tactical Training Solutions, but when
Tactical
Training Solutions.
Okay.
When I did this military, I was a subcontractor, and it was interesting is because you have other instructors there, and we all taught. Again, we were teaching tire plugging, but there was 4 different ways to do it. And when they got done, they were like, okay, we're still teaching, again, from the point of instruction, but from experience.
Right.
Hey, they watched me do it, and I was like, wow. I was actually faster
All
than
right.
some of the guys.
So Tactical
Training
Training Solutions.
Solutions
Is there a .com that follows that?
Tactical Training
Okay, there's
Solutions
a website.
Incorporated.com.
So it's
Tactical Training Solutions Incorporated, INC.
inc.com.
Yes,
Okay.
.com. Yeah, and look at my stuff. Or
So,
my
yeah, I mean-
Facebook page. You
well, yeah,
can look
or
at our Facebook page.
Tactical
Or
Training
just reach out
Solutions.
to them and send them an email.
You send me an email.
Yeah, but in case somebody's interested in maybe having a group that's,
Yes.
that's somewhere it's going to be kind of local, sort of.
Yes,
Maybe in
yes.
the state of Florida somewhere.
Yes.
Right? I mean, you'll drive a little ways.
Oh, I do. Like I
Yeah.
said, when I teach the state, I go all over the state to meet the client, and
Okay.
from Tallahassee to the Panhandle to, all the way down.
All right,
to,
so tell your friends. Tactical Training Solutions.
Yes.
There's a free plug for you there.
Thank you very much.
All right. We haven't done that. We've been doing this for how long now?
I know.
100 and
We're
some
just
odd.
100 and something episodes, and now we're just figuring we'll give you a plug.
That's all right.
You gotta build up to it. It's called sweat equity, my friend.
Thank you, and thank you, everybody else. Thank you. And again, I'm not bashing. I'm just saying not everybody's the same.
Right. Not bashing. That'll be the name of this episode. Not
bashing?
Not bashing.
I'm not bashing the radio. I'm not bashing these people.
Not bashing,
but
yeah, not bashing, but
Yeah.
Well, guys,
It was fun.
that was
Thank
fun.
you.
All right, guys. I guess until next time, we drop these every Monday a.m.
Monday
at
a.m.?
5:30.
Yep. That's
So-
for the podcast.
That's for the podcast. Well, and the video, same thing.
Oh, we do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Hey,
Everything
see,
drops
I
5:30 in the
was
morning.
educated today.
Right. So
All
just
right.
make sure that you, number one, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yes.
And also, of course, if you're watching us, we have the audio version of it as well on all the podcast platforms. You can subscribe there too, and make sure you set the notifications so you know when we drop these episodes.
Correct.
Cool.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
all right. Bye.
Bye.
And there you have it.
Don't you feel smarter now?
We'll drop more knowledge on you soon. Thanks for listening to the Off-Road Toolbox. Powered by Best Price Trailers.